Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture. I'm of course your host TJ. I wanted to come today to review Jurassic World Rebirth, the newest iteration of the Jurassic Park franchise, which for better or worse, unlike the dinosaurs, refuses to go extinct. Now, as you can see from the little images I have up there at the top, it stars our very own Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali. All very fantastic actors. I think that they're amazing in the film. In fact, I think they're the best thing about the movie. I'm not going to waste too much time summarizing because basically it's the same old story. A group of people go to one of the islands where the dinosaurs are this time to get some other DNA so that they can create a cure for heart disease, or I don't know, some other thinly contrived excuse to go to the dinosaur place. They meet up with a group of a father and his two daughters and his boyfriend, who for some reason are at the equator, even though that region is supposed to be off limits because of laws, and I don't know. It's just all sorts of very silly story contrivances. My biggest issue with this movie, and I think the reason that it doesn't hold up as well as, say, like the original Jurassic Park, or even The Lost World, which is my least favorite of the originals, is because the dinosaurs are so, like, they're not even on screen very much. Like, we have, the sort of big classics, like, the mosasaur or the T-Rex. We don't have any actual raptors. We have this weird, like, mutant dinosaur that is like a raptor crossed with a pterodactyl, I guess. Like, anyway, more on that in a minute. But for now, I was just kind of surprised by how camera shy these dinosaurs are. It's like, if this is a movie that's supposed to be all about why dinosaurs are so awe-inducing, so terrifying, like, they really don't show up all that much. And they're kind of just not all that intimidating compared to what they have been in literally any other iteration of the franchise. And I think that that's really this movie's flaw, which, I'm thrilled that, Jonathan Bailey is an openly gay man leading a huge blockbuster franchise. I think that he is fantastic in the movie. So is Scarlett Johansson, obviously, and Mahershala, although I think of the three, Mahershala is the least well utilized. But, even the death scenes are not all that impressive. Like, we have several people getting chomped by dinos, which always happens in a Jurassic Park movie, but I was just kind of like, I don't really care about these characters that much, so it doesn't have the impact of, say, like, when we see Dennis Nedry getting devoured in the original. And so I was just kind of like, why are we doing this? And, like, why do we seem to not have the ability to capture anything remotely resembling the majesty and beauty of the original movie, or even some of the others in this series? That said, I do think this is better than all but the original Jurassic Worlds, because I just think the others are kind of, and at least this one has interesting human characters. There's even a villain in Rupert Friend who plays, this villainous capitalist who ends up getting eaten by the Distortus Rex, which that's the last thing I want to talk about, which are this franchise's, like, obsession with mutant dinos. Distortus is even uglier than, say, like the, whatever the other one was from the original Jurassic World. And or Indominus, I think, Rex, whatever, it's not important. This one looks like it's a reject from an Alien movie, the Alien franchise. And I'm just sort of like, why do we need to reinvent the wheel? Why do we need to invent these weird hybrid dinosaurs when we have still very awesome beasts like T-Rex, the OG, or even Spinosaurus, or the Mosasaur? Like, we have actually interesting dinosaurs that we don't necessarily need to invent ones that we don't actually see on screen that much, and that end up being just kind of like lackluster when they do appear. It all kind of baffles me, and I'm kind of confused as to why this franchise still leans in on that. So I guess in the end, I was a little bit underwhelmed. Like, I was entertained while it was on, but after I was finished, I was like, I am going to forget almost everything about this movie pretty much as soon as I'm done. Which is very true, I think, of all the Jurassic Worlds, with the exception of maybe the very first one. I mean, let's be real, nothing has ever captured the majesty and the beauty and the just cinematic spectacularness of the original. In part, that's just because I don't know that we have the sense of wonder that we used to have, or the capacity for wonder in quite the same way. Obviously, Spielberg's magic touch as a director had a lot to do with the original, and I just think that each iteration of this franchise loses a bit more of its soul, even as sometimes its human characters, I think, of the reboots, this one has the closest when it comes to human characters, even though the two human sets are almost completely divorced from each other. And so I was just kind of left wondering, where does this franchise go? Like, is it possible to rejuvenate it in such a way that it feels like it's actually interesting, as opposed to just spectacle that's kind of empty and leaves you just kind of like, okay, well, that was fine, but I don't need to see it again. So I don't know. I liked it well enough. It was entertaining, and I thought the human characters were great. But I'm still confused as to why we keep making dinosaur movies where the dinosaurs are so so much less of a presence than they should be. Like, if you look at the original, like, dinosaurs are roaming all over the place. They're eating people. They're chasing people. It all had power and impactfulness. And I just feel like these movies that we get now are empty calories. Now maybe that's my old gripey millennial grudge, but I don't know. What do you all think? Like, what do other people think? Did they like it? Did they feel like it had substance, or was it just style and spectacle? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it feels like the franchise should give us more. A franchise that's all about man's hubris and man's ability to destroy itself through, like, rampant playing God should have a little more to it, a little more heft to it. So I'm just a little bit frustrated, but like I said, it's an enjoyable enough movie. Bailey and Johansson and Ali are fantastic. So I would say go see it at the theater, because it is one of those movies that I think really benefits from a theatrical experience. So I guess it gets a quasi seal of approval from Pisces Guide to Pop Culture, but not a full-throated approval. So anyway, that's all my review for Jurassic World Rebirth. Thanks so much for joining me here at Pisces Guide to Pop Culture. I'm, of course, your host, TJ. Take care, y'all.